Someone much wiser than me at one point said that you can learn a lot from just sitting by a river. And I believe that to be absolutely true. And I feel like that's a perspective that we all need to take from time to time.
For me, my favorite part of the river is actually a very simple thing of just being beside it and experiencing it in that way.
To me, I think the character of the Rio Grande River is defined by, the climate that it's in, which is, it flows from the headwaters where we get the precipitation down to such an arid region that has so much potential of itself, but only because of the river. And so we've always fought to protect and take care of the river because it's everything to us.
The Rio Grande is incredibly important to the San Luis Valley because without that river and the other tributaries, we just wouldn't be able to live there. The San Luis Valley is a high mountain desert situated at an average elevation on the valley floor of about 7,600 feet in elevation. We only receive about 7 inches of rainfall on average on the valley floor. And so we are so dependent on the Rio Grande and the Conejos River and all the other tributaries and rivers that flow into the valley to be able to grow crops and enjoy recreation and support fish and wildlife.
I'm on the Rio Grande Headwaters Restoration Project and was one of the founding board members. That started back in 1998. The community was noticing that the Rio Grande River was becoming very degraded, and the infrastructure along the river was very old, over 100 years old, a lot of those diversion boxes. And so they started an initiative to push for a study to study the river and how we could improve it, and then make a plan to start improving our infrastructure system, not only for water efficiencies, but also water quality and repairing health. That's huge for everybody. We're all stewards of our resources and we want to take care of them.
So the Rio Grande Headwaters Restoration Project is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is really to improve the health of the Rio Grande for all water users and for all who depend on it. So for the agricultural community, for the fish and wildlife and the environment, as well as for recreation in the broader community. And so it's looking at the river from a holistic perspective and finding where we can have these multiple benefit projects to improve the health of the river.
I think one of the most beautiful things about the Rio Grande Headwaters Restoration Project is seeing these multi-benefit projects that can make sure that farmers get the water that they are entitled to when they're in priority by building these fancy new diversion structures with top-of-the-line automation and all the bells and whistles, while also making sure that there's boat passage and fish passage where appropriate, and doing riparian restoration along with it.
The Rio Grande Restoration Project, what it benefits is the whole San Luis Valley, is because it has helped us manage not only water quality, our efficiency for agricultural use, which then helps us keep our agricultural producers in business, but our wildlife, our riparian areas, which in turn attracts people from a recreation standpoint. So it helps our local economy profit.
We're hiring local contractors, and that is helping in terms of the economics of the valley. That money, those grant dollars, are then being circulated within the community. It really is kind of a ripple effect, and really reaching the community much beyond the actual project itself.
What's great is we've taken a plan, we spent the money, but we implemented the plan, and it's just awesome to see that.
So the challenges here in the San Luis Valley relating to water and related to the river health are complicated and great, but the exciting thing is the number of people at the table and the number of partners and interests. That really brings a diverse perspective to the table, and the restoration project's able to come up with partnerships and collaborations and projects that meet multiple needs in a way that we maybe haven't historically.
I strongly believe that every vested interest, every stakeholder, should have a voice, but at the same time needs to recognize that other people have a voice too. I think outdoor recreation plays a big part in disconnecting our communities together, and I think that's one of the things that I've seen happen over the last several years is more and more conversations and more action taken to get our communities to be intentional with outdoor recreation and providing accessible places for our community members to engage in outdoor recreation, whether that be on the river or on our local trails, on public lands. And I find that more and more people are getting out to enjoy these different places to recreate around the valley.
I think we've made some strides there in strengthening that relationship, and I think we're moving in a direction where there's more communication and collaboration between the two now. For an agricultural area, we've always had a very robust tourist economy here, and not all agricultural areas have that, and we've always had that here. So that's a huge part of our heritage.
The Del Norte Riverfront project is a really great example and an opportunity that we had to partner with the town of Del Norte and the community here to create this space that allows for the community to connect to the river.
You got a community there that has really rallied together and been very excited about what's going on there and what that has done and the possibilities of what it brings. And of course, they're building trails and picnic areas, and it just a lot going on there just on that one project. But it is new to our area to have something like that, an actual play area. This is the first project that where you're actually recreating in the water and you can go out there and play in it. And
thinking about the larger picture of how a lot of us in the outdoor recreation community and water community have been thinking about, how do we connect more people to the river? We're looking at this big picture of all right, we've got communities all along the river or within very easy driving distance of the river, and how do we make these intentional locations where people can get on the river and have access, where it makes sense.
And that's really important to a lot of the community that doesn't have the resources to drive maybe to Salida or Buena Vista or even up to the Headwaters where there is more boating infrastructure. So for the community here in the valley, this is a space that you can go and be and access the river, and that's a really cool feature that it's so important to the health of the community.
The way I like to put it is the river takes care of us, but we've got to take care of the river as well.